Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Claudine. If you're new, welcome. So today I'm going to show you how I achieved this fish. It looks delicious and it was delicious. So I started by gathering some fish from one of the local stores here in Houston, Texas. I had 2 tilapias in a pack. So I started out by cleaning the tilapia. Usually they have it cleaned out, but I always go over it with my knife to make sure there's no scales left and to remove out any extra things that don't need to be there. So I just go over it with my knife as best as I can. And tilapia is a fish that's native to only the Middle East and Africa. It's very beneficial in terms of health. It's one of the healthiest sources of proteins, and tilapia is not an exception to this. It's packed with several minerals, including choline, niacin, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and even phosphorus. It's a very good source of omega-3 fatty acids, which help keep your heart healthy. It also helps prevent cancer and other heart diseases like clotting, blood pressure, and even help lower your cholesterol. So once I finished cleaning the fish, I removed the gills, I removed part of the fins, and then just washed it under running water. Made sure I washed it as best as I could, rubbing the gills area using my fingers to remove any extra particles that may be there as well. So just continued with the cleaning process until my fish was clean. When that was finished, I moved on to make some incisions, if I may use that medical terminology, but just cut down some small areas. And this is where I use to season it, okay? And that just helps the seasoning absorb real good into the fish. I did that for both pieces, and just continue, do it as best as you can to make sure they're not too much apart and they're not too close. And then I let it drip a little bit because I just washed it. So I let it sit on the counter for a few minutes just for the water to drip. When that was done, I split each fish into 2 pieces, making it into halves. So for a total of 4 halves, I just used my creole seasoning to sprinkle a little bit on each of those incisions I created. So do that for each of the pieces, and then I let it sit for a few more minutes for the seasoning to absorb and to infuse into the fish. All right. So another thing about fish, they help with bone strength because they're rich in calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and phosphorus. When that was finished, I moved on to my air fryer. That's what I used for this process. So that's my air fryer right there, and the fish is ready. So I just sprinkled, or rather sprayed it with some canola oil spray, and this is just so it doesn't stick to the pan, if you may. Once that was done, I just put my fish in the container and let it cook. All the 4 pieces were able to fit in. This is a good size air fryer that can accommodate much. So I just put my fish in there, make sure they're not overlapping, and this enables them to cook evenly. When that was done, I put it back in and turned down the temperature. I believe I used 350 degrees for about 10 minutes on one side, and just let it cook until your timer runs out. So when finished, you can choose to eat it the way it is, or you can decide to make some stew for it. So the 10 minutes are up. I just flipped it and let the other side cook for another 10 minutes. And this is the finished product. So yummy, so delicious, very healthy. You can't go wrong with this. Thank you for joining me, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye!